The fourth step in our gearbox assembly is adding the offset shaft. To add the offset shaft, go up to the Assembly tab in the Command Manager and click Insert Components. You may or may not get an automatic dialog box that allows you to choose the component you want to insert. If you do not get this dialog box, in the Property Manager, you can click on Browse to get the same dialog box. Find the offset shaft. I believe it was called shaft gear. You should get a graphics preview near your cursor of the offset shaft. If you do not, go to the Property Manager under Options and click the box that says Graphics Preview. Left click anywhere in the graphics area to insert your offset shaft into the assembly. The offset shaft is now a part of the assembly, but its orientation is not so close to how we want it. You can right-click drag to rotate the offset shaft closer to its desired orientation, because it's going to go through these side holes in the housing. We need to add mates to relate the offset shaft to the rest of the gearbox assembly. To do that, go to the Mate command, which is in the Assembly tab right next to Insert Components. Click on Mate, and you see that it looks a lot like the Add Relations Property Manager. That's because it is. We're adding relations between components in the same way that we add relations between sketch entities in the part environment. You also notice in your assembly down in the taskbar it says underdefined. That means that the assembly is underdefined, that there are components here that aren't yet fully constrained to the rest of the assembly. So we need to add mates to the offset shaft to constrain it. First, click the outer diameter of the shaft, and then the inner diameter of the side hole on the housing. SOLIDWORKS automatically assumes that we want to add a concentric relation. This means that our two cylindrical surfaces that we selected now have the same axis. This is exactly what we want, because this shaft has to go through these side holes. So press OK to confirm the concentric relation. The next mate that we will add will be a coincident mate between the left side or the left planar face of our groove on the shaft and the right face of our side boss in our housing. SOLIDWORKS automatically assumes that we want to add a coincident relationship between these two planar faces. The coincident mate goes very well with planar faces and points. Here it lines the faces up flush. If we were to select points, it would merge those 2 points so that they touch. This is our desired result, so press the green check mark to confirm this coincident mate. Now our assembly is still underdefined, but the movement that is allowed right now in our assembly is actually movement that we want in terms of our design. So let's hit the green check mark in the Mate command again to end the command, and then left click drag on the hexagonal part of the shaft and see that it rotates now inside the side hole, but it doesn't move translationally. This is desired movement for the design of our part. Our gearbox cannot function properly without this offset shaft being free to move. To further check if it's free to move, we can make the top cover and the housing transparent so that we can see through them. To do that, to do this, right click on the components and then click the Change Transparency option in the pop-up toolbar. This makes the components transparent. Do this also for the housing. And now we can see through to our offset shaft. If you desire, you can also remove the edges so that we can see it a little bit clearer. And as far as I can tell, there is no interference between the offset shaft and the rest of the assembly. Now would be a good time to take some valuable notes. But first I will change the transparency of my components back by right-clicking and clicking on Change Transparency. I've prepared some notes that you might want to write down in Microsoft Word, or reword them in your own words, or add things that you thought might also be useful. How to insert a component and show a graphics preview. How to use the concentric mate option with a helpful picture. How to do a coincident mate. And the fact that we can change the transparency, and the fact that we want the shaft to be free to rotate. I just corrected that typo is all. And here's a picture showing where change transparency is in the pop-up toolbar.